Audio log 0502. Start. Hello, I am researcher Ichabod, Class A, and we have with us Class B, researcher Antihero.
Class B for now. I'm working my way up slowly, but we'll get there. We'll get there all in time.
Fair enough. And we're going to go over the security clearance levels for you new employees of the Foundation. So, starting at the top, Foundation security clearances granted to personnel represent the highest level or type of information to which they can be granted. However, having any given clearance level does not automatically grant access to all information at that level. Personnel are only granted access to information on a need-to-know basis, and at the discretion of the designated disclosure officer overseeing their respective departments. So we're going to start at the top of the list and move our way down, as you do. Level 0, which is for official use only. Level 0 security clearances are given to non-essential personnel who need no access to information regarding anomalous objects or entities in the Foundation containment. Level 0 access is typically held by personnel in non-secured clerical, logistic, or janitorial positions at facilities with no access to operational data. So basically, they're the bugs, the worker
Like
bees.
John, who cleans the bathroom over on C4.
Yeah, John cleaning the bathroom on C4.
John's not his real name. We protect the innocent around here. Thank you very much.
Well, that and we always save the redactor time. Next is level 1 clearance, which is confidential. Level 1 security clearances are given to personnel working in proximity to, but with no direct, indirect, or informal access to anomalous objects or entities in containment. Level 1 security clearances are typically granted to personnel working in clerical, logistics, or janitorial facilities with no containment capability or otherwise must handle sensitive information. So they're like level 2 janitors.
It's as if the janitor were the best to clean up the mess from some sort of breach or something.
Yeah.
They're not sure what they're cleaning up, but they're definitely cleaning up things that aren't necessarily supposed to be there.
Yeah. Level 2 clearance is restricted. Level 2 clearance is given to security and research personnel that require direct access to information regarding anomalous objects and entities in containment. Most research staff, field agents, and containment specialists hold level 2 security clearance. They are the guys who first touch the shit and order the janitor. They're like your district manager at a Wendy's. Level 3. Level 3 security clearances are given to senior security and research personnel that require in-depth data regarding the source, recovery circumstances, and long-term planning for anomalous objects and entities in containment. Most senior research staff, project managers, security officers, response team members, and mobile task force operatives hold a level 3 security clearance. So, the jackboots and the pencil pushers.
Senior research. That is a cushy position. I mean, once you get up there, you're cream of the research crop. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, cream of the crop up there. They're great people, like Dr.
That
Bright.
the job security is pretty impressive too.
And yeah, as long as you're sending in D class and nothing breaches.
Well, I mean, sure, there's been a few moments where, certain things have occurred, and some people may have been dissolved, eaten, disintegrated, transmuted into other things, zombified, infested, or otherwise killed in many fashions, but that's a rare occurrence in most places.
Oh yeah, except for Site 13. They were dicks at Site 13.
Well, we don't talk about certain things.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Level 4 security clearances are given to senior administration that require access to site-wide and or regional intelligence, as well as long-term strategic data regarding Foundation Operations and research projects. Level 4 security clearances are typically only held by site directors, security directors, or mobile task force commanders. They're the balls, for lack of a better term.
They possess all but the most absolutely important details of what we like to call the big picture.
And that picture's big, folks. Let me tell you that one. Oh, God, here we go. Level 5, known as the Thomiel level. Level 5 security clearances are given to the highest-ranking administrative personnel within the Foundation, and grant effectively unlimited access to all strategic and otherwise sensitive data. Level 5 security clearances are typically only granted to O5 council members and very selected staff. Personnel clarifications or personnel classifications is what comes next. And do you want to go through these ones?
Sure, why not? Classifications are assigned to personnel based on their proximity to potentially dangerous anomalous object entities or phenomena. Now, please pay very close attention, as these particular pieces of information, including what we've already read and what we're about to read, could save your life someday.
Possibly.
A Class A personnel is one deemed essential to Foundation strategic operations, and they are not allowed direct access to anomalies under any circumstances. When circumstances require Class A personnel to be in direct proximity to such anomalies, such as in the case of facilities housing containment units, Class A personnel are not allowed access to the areas of the facility containing such anomalies and are to be kept in secured areas at all times. In the case of an emergency, Class A personnel are to be immediately evacuated to a designated and secure off-site location. O5 council members are always Class A personnel.
I mean, they run the thing, so they might as well be the most important flocks out there.
Basically, if you're a Class A personnel, you're almost guaranteed not to be eaten, dissolved, disintegrated, acid, or nuked.
Sometimes they still get nuked.
It's happened a few times. Again, one of those things that we just don't really like to discuss, or are allowed to discuss.
I didn't say shit.
This will be redacted before any of you even hear it. Class B. Class B personnel are those deemed essential to local Foundation operations and may only be granted access to objects, entities, and anomalies that have passed quarantine and have been cleared of any potential mind-affecting agents or mimetic effects. In the event of a containment breach or hostile action against the Foundation facility, Class B personnel are to be evacuated to a designated secure off-site location as soon as possible. So, Class B personnel are not quite as important as Class A, but we also prefer they not be, in various ways, killed.
Yeah.
Class C. Class C personnel are personnel with direct access to most anomalies, not deemed strictly hostile or dangerous. Class C personnel that have had direct contact with potentially mind-affecting or mimetic properties may be subject to mandatory quarantine and psychiatric evaluation as deemed necessary by security personnel. In the event of a containment breach or hostile action against the Foundation facility, non-combatant Class C personnel are to either report to secure lockdown areas or evacuate at the discretion of on-site security personnel in the case of a site-wide breach or other catastrophic. To put it plainly, if you're a Class C individual, then you should be aware that you are expected to occasionally go down with the ship. It's an honorable ending to a glorious profession.
Indeed. And that ship might just happen to be a bullet, and your best friend Billy might just be firing it.
Sometimes. Occasionally, Billy has already become a worm-infested zombie mutant creature, and it's your job to kill Billy before Billy kills you and adds your biomass to his own.
Yeah.
That happened last year.
Billy got big.
And it was rough. Moving on to Class D personnel. Class D personnel are expendable personnel used to handle extremely hazardous anomalies and are not allowed to come into contact with Class A or Class B personnel. Class D personnel are typically drawn worldwide from the ranks of prison inmates convicted of violent crimes, especially those on death row. In times of duress, Protocol 12 may be enacted. which allows recruitment from other sources, such as political prisoners, refugee populations, and other civilian sources, that can be transferred into Foundation custody under plausibly deniable circumstances.
Homeless people.
Class. Yes. The exact documentation for Protocol 12 is allowed to be seen by anyone with the Class B classification or higher. Class D personnel are to be given regular mandatory psychiatric evaluations and are to be administered an amnestic of at least Class B strength or terminated at the end of the month at the discretion of on-site security or medical staff. In the event of a catastrophic site event, Class D personnel are to be terminated immediately, except as deemed necessary by on-site security personnel. Class D personnel are truly the unsung heroes of our Foundation. Without them, we wouldn't know any of the myriad thousand ways SCP-682 can tear you to little pieces.
Well, yeah. They're our meat shield in a great war.
They understand that they are giving their lives for a greater cause. And even if they don't understand, they're still giving their lives for a greater cause. And sometimes that sort of reassurance among other people.
They don't have
Lastly,
to know.
Sometimes it's better if they don't. There's a lot of things I've learned about when my tenure here that I've decided that if it kills me, I prefer not to see it.
Yeah, no shit. I don't want to see it coming either, man.
Some of them you can't see coming.
Yeah, no shit.
Honestly, mildly more frightening.
Yeah.
Now, Class E. Class E is a provisional classification applied to field agents and containment personnel that have been exposed to potentially dangerous effects during the course of securing and establishing initial containment over a newly designated anomalous object, entity, or phenomenon. Class E personnel to be quarantined as soon as possible, monitored, and screened for potentially harmful changes in behavior, personality, or physiology, and they only return to duty after being fully debriefed and cleared by psychiatric and medical staff.
Meat Shield, the return.
You'll all remember James last week.
Oh, God.
He was put on Class C status. Unfortunately, he also grew an extra pair of jaws, 4 extra arms, and bizarre genitals. Unfortunately, James, if you put down this morning, I thought you all should know.
Aw. Kondraki liked James.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Dr. Kondraki. You have our condolences. On to staff titles. Site staff's containment specialists. Containment specialists have 2 main roles at the Foundation facilities. Firstly, containment teams are called upon to respond to confirmed cases of anomalous activity to secure and establish initial containment over anomalous objects, entities, or phenomena, and transport them to the nearest Foundation containment site. In addition, Foundation containment engineers and technicians are called upon to devise, refine, and maintain containment units for schemes for objects, entities, and phenomena in Foundation facilities. So they're the box makers.
These are solid individuals with an excellent grasp on what, contain and protect actually means. These are people who we really look up to, and again, unsung heroes, honestly.
Of course, with Frank, when we say we looked up to him, it was mostly because he was splattered against the ceiling.
Well, that's what happens when you anger, what was it? Cannibalistic Giant. I can't remember what he calls himself.
Fernand.
Anyway, yeah.
Great at chess.
Fantastic, and speaks a number of languages.
Yeah, pretty fluently too. So, he's
unfortunately, he also feeds on human flesh.
We all have our flaws. Researchers.
None of my flaws involve cannibalism.
Nor do mine. Researchers are the scientific branch of the Foundation, drawn from the ranks of the smartest and best trained research scientists from around the world, with specialists.
Smartest and best trained.
With specialists in every field imaginable, from chemistry and botany to more esoteric or specialized fields such as theoretical physics and xenobiology. The goal of the Foundation's research projects is to gain a better understanding of unexplained anomalies and how they operate.
My own particular specialty is cryptozoology.
So, 1,000?
No, cryptozoology.
Yeah, like SCP-1000.
Oh yeah, and there are others that may have had a huge hand in the creation of our myth.
Oh, big hairy motherfuckers. Security officers. On-site security officers, and often referred to as simply as guards, at Foundation facilities are tasked with maintaining physical and information security for Foundation projects, operations, and personnel. Primarily drawn and recruited from military, law enforcement, and correctional facility personnel, security officers are trained in the use of all types of weapons, as well as a variety of contingency plans covering both containment breach incidents as well as hostile action. These personnel are also responsible for information security, such as making sure that sensitive documents are not misplaced and that the facility's computer systems are safe from outside intrusion. They are also often the first line of defense against hostile outside forces for Foundation facilities. That one seems pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I mean,
Security officers are guys that are between me and the bad guys, generally speaking.
fair point.
And by bad guys, I mean giant monsters that want nothing more than to rip my insides out
And eat them.
and wear them, or wear them. That happened once. Not my insides, but other insides.
Aw, Bill the intern, we will miss you.
We will miss you, Bill.
That's what happens.
On the other hand, I might as lovely an intestinal turban.
You're not wrong.
I mean, that was real artistry.
Not yet. Fuck yeah, man. You can get it. You get it just right to have the shape, but also be horrifying to look at. That's talent.
It did not help that he had not used the restroom before that happened.
That did not help the smell.
No.
Technical response team officers. Response teams, or tactical teams, are highly trained and heavily armed combat teams tasked with escorting containment teams with dangerous anomalous entities or hostile groups of interest are involved, and defending Foundation facilities against hostile action. Response teams are more effectively military units stationed at major Foundation facilities that are ready to deploy at a moment's notice. So they're like shock troops. And now we move on to field personnel. You want to take this one?
Indeed. And we begin with the field agent. Field agents are the eyes and ears of the Foundation. Personnel trained to look for and investigate signs of anomalous activity. Often undercover with local or regional law enforcement or embedded in local services such as emergency medical services and regulatory organizations. As undercover units, field agents are typically not equipped to deal with confirmed cases of anomalous activity. Once such an incident has been confirmed and isolated, field agents typically call for assistance from the nearest field containment team with the means to safely secure and contain such anomalies. Essentially, think of a field agent as a guy with a really nice, fun line. The I'm fucked line.
Oh. When all else fails, shoot it into the sun.
Unless it's 682. Do not shoot into the sun. No.
We don't do
that.
that.
Was actually negated, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. They tried that, or they were considering trying it.
Yeah. I think Hope 5 shut it down.
They cut it They cut it in half once.
That was a bad idea.
Once. Then there were two of them.
And that was
If you
unpleasant.
thought 1682 was a problem, think about what two of them would be like.
Fuck that noise.
And the worst part is that because they cut it in half and there were two of them, they were two smaller 682s. Now, one would assume that a smaller one is easier to handle. Nope, it's now faster and more agile.
At least we had Steve Irwin visiting that week.
I mean, it is truly an absolute marvel of engineering. Whatever Well, let's be honest. Whatever demonic presence had its hand in creating 682 really knew what it was doing. If we could harness that potential and weaponize it. Anyway, Mobile Task Force operatives. Mobile Task Forces are specialist units comprised of veteran field personnel, drawn from all over the Foundation. These task forces are mobilized of nature and can include anything from field research type of anomaly to heavily armed combat units tasked to secure anomalous entities. This is a task forces document for more detailed information. Unfortunately, if any of you are not already a Class C personnel, you will not be allowed to see that.
Yeah.
And Class C personnel will have to go through screening and O5 approval before they'll be allowed to see it as well.
Yeah. So, good luck.
Chances are, when you actually view or listen to this particular reading through, you will not even see the term task force document, as it will have been redacted.
Yep. That's the redactor's job.
Yep, and he is another unsung hero of this foundation, keeping us safe from harmful ideas.
Oh, he is up redacted. And you know it.
What?
He is a redacted. And you
Of
know
course
it.
he is. Everything's redacted around here.
You're not wrong. Site directors.
Yesterday? Do you know what I did yesterday?
What did you do yesterday?
I don't know. It was redacted. The entirety of my workday yesterday was redacted. I was issued a Class A amnestic and told not to think about it.
I think I might have heard about that, but I'm not getting into it.
The only reason I know I was issued an amnestic is because they gave me a doctor's note saying don't operate any heavy machinery for a few days.
Oof. So, site director. Site directors for major Foundation facilities are the highest ranking personnel at that location and are responsible for the continued safe operation of the site and all its contained anomalies and projects. All major departmental directors report directly to the site director, who in turn reports to the O5 Council.
I have nothing to say about those people. The less they know I'm saying about them, the better.
I don't know. Site director Dr. Bright's kind of a pain in the ass.
Now that you said that, I will not expect to see you next week.
I'll be fine. O5 Council member. So, heads up, people. The O5 Council refers to the committee consisting of the highest-ranking directors of the Foundation, with complete access to all information regarding anomalies and containment. The O5 Council oversees all Foundation operations worldwide and directs its long-term strategic plans due to the sensitivity of their positions. O5 Council members must not come into direct contact with any anomalous object, entity, or phenomenon. Furthermore, the identities of all O5 Council members is classified. All Council members are referred to only by their numeric designation, O5-1 through O5-13.
It has been said in some circles that the most mysterious SCP of all is the O5 Council.
Yeah, that would make some sense.
There are suggestions that they are, in fact, a conglomerate of SCPs themselves.
I wouldn't doubt it. At the workplace we have to deal with, I wouldn't doubt it in the slightest bit.
You know we have Cthulhu in one of our cells, right?
Yeah, but he's a young Cthulhu.
We still have Cthulhu, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, they had me clean his cell once, and the blood orgy just...
Yeah, but he's actually not a big fan of those.
Yeah, no, he's really not a fan. He's not ready to settle down with the cup.
Just, my point, though, is that, we have Cthulhu, an undying dragon, what may or may not be God. I mean, we have a lot of really interesting things, and so, what's the O5 Council?
And on that wonderful note, I am researcher Class B Ichabod, and this is researcher Class C Antihero. And we will be ending this informative audio log now. Thank you for listening.